Today's video is all about installing the stringers in the boat. For Christmas, we got these cool electric scissors that cut amazing. For the stringers, we're going to be working with fiberglass instead of carbon fiber, and we do the same process of wetting out the pieces on the bench before they're put into the boat. For the stringers, we're using 25-pound board core, which is already glued in by Cavasil. We are adding an extra bead of Cavasil to make sure there are no voids between the board and the bottom of the boat. This extra bead will also create a rounded transition to eliminate sharp edges. We're adding a thin coat of resin where we're going to be putting our pieces of fiberglass to create a better bond. When we have longer pieces like this one, especially with the crease, we fold them in half and then roll them up so that it's easy to unroll them in the boat like this, and it creates less of a mess and it's easier work. For our stringers, we developed a triple shear design. This first piece of fiberglass connects this piece of core to the boat. We always use our rollers to eliminate air bubbles. Now we're putting another bead of Cavasil because we're going to be setting in the second half of the stringer. Now, as you can see, this second board that makes up the thickness of the stringer is bonded to the bottom of the boat through Cavasil and a layer of fiberglass, and is bonded to the other side of the board through a layer of fiberglass. Then we went down screwing on the top and the bottom of the boards to sandwich them together until the layup hardens. Before our layup hardens, we always go back and clean up any excess resin or Cavasil in order to make sure that we don't have to do as much grinding. Here we're repeating the same process that we just did on the other side. Now we're moving on to the front portion of the stringer that is going to be in front of the bulkhead that is yet to go in. We are putting in the stringers before the bulkheads so that they're one continuous piece. If we were to put the stringers in between each of the bulkheads, that would create for a flex in the hull, and we do not want the hull to flex. This type of stringer installation makes the boat more sturdy. This piece of fiberglass is exactly like the ones we just did, but on the opposite side because of how we interlocked the core pieces. For this part of the stringer, the double thickness is made up of 1 part 25-pound board and 1 part 5-pound board. Again, we just use screws to sandwich those two together until the resin fully hardens. After that process was complete, we went in with our router to make nice curved edges, because our next step includes putting fiberglass over the stringer, so we wanted those curved edges to make for a smoother transition. Having lines for our pieces to meet up with and cutting our slits beforehand makes for easier, cleaner work. We started with this smaller piece to connect the stringer to the bulkhead. As you can see with our lines, now we know exactly where the piece is going to line up with the top of the stringer. This is where our second shear point comes in. This is where our third shear point comes in. We repeated the process that we did on the front bulkheads with one piece wrapping over the stringer and one piece not. Having 3 shear points means that the stringers are connected in 3 different aspects. If one fails, there's still 2 to back it up. This is way more sturdy than any other conventional way of installing stringers. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our content.